We're back with Member of Parliament David Sweet and just sharing the loss of Lara, your daughter. How did faith play a role in all of this?
Well, I mean, in every dimension, faith to have hope that one day Lara would get a handle on her behavior, faith that the things that we said to her, the love that we tried to express to her would one day make a difference, and it did. Faith that while she was out there on the street, and because she refused any kind of help, for at least sheltering help, just that she wouldn't be harmed. Obviously worried about how she was treated. Lara's pretty tough, and she. I mean, that didn't diminish my concern about her, but she was carried herself quite well, and that probably protected her too.
You share in your story that going to a school, and I don't know how much you want to share, but experiencing or seeing abuse, and abuse was all around. Explain, how does a child exist in an environment like that?
You try to focus on other things. So, I spent the better part of 4 years in this place that was supposed to be a training school called St. Joseph's, but if it was a training school, they certainly didn't tell us what we were being trained for. They didn't indicate what the end outcome was supposed to be, and so you just kind of live every day. You hope that you don't get beat up so bad that you end up hospitalized. And
this is by the teachers. You're concerned about the authorities.
Yeah, some of it, yes, yeah. I mean, listen, because I was a good victim, I was beat up more by the boys in there. I mean, there was a lot of abuse by those who were supposed to be the guards and looking after us, and fortunately I escaped a lot of it, but a lot of the young boys that I was with did not.
And so you've decided to be vocal about that, especially because you said you read an article that inspired you to speak out about this.
Listen, I'd put it behind me. It's not something that you want to talk about a lot. And I read an article about a judge who had made a statement because there were 4 of these men now who were boys and mistreated in these training schools. And they said they weren't credible, their case wasn't credible because they had criminal records. And I just thought that was, what do you expect? I mean, I was fortunate I avoided a criminal record. But what do you expect if you mistreat a child? Right. I mean, they were incarcerated from 8 to 16. I remember these little boys when I was sent there, and I just thought, this is not right. And so after you incarcerate somebody like that, and what do you expect? And so I said, I phoned the author of the article and said, hey, I didn't know if I wanted to identify myself. We'd just gone through losing Lara. Right. And so I said, I haven't talked to my wife, so I can't tell you my identity, but I can tell you this. I'm a federal legislator, and I don't have a criminal record. And I was there, and everything these men said are true.
How have you seen that help, especially in speaking out about this, and also speaking out about the loss of Lara and dealing with mental illness?
I think for the most part, people send me emails, they write, they phone, and just say, listen, we're so glad that we can now share our story. We can seek help. Somebody that's in a position like you shares something like that. It's a release for them to be more public, to seek help for a loved one or themselves.
Yeah. What makes you different, Mr. Sweet? I mean, you were able to survive. Dysfunctional childhood. You saw how your brother had some challenges. What made you different that you were able to survive? Because you admitted that you had a troubled childhood and you would rebel sometimes as well. But now you're an MP.
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the lights in a very dark place was that we had to go to church in St. Joseph's, and because it was run by Roman Catholic brothers. And in fact, because it got me away from getting in trouble with anybody else, I would actually sign up for extra duties to, on Easter and that kind of stuff. And so I didn't follow the Lord at that time. But in 1982, somebody that worked for me challenged me, and very boldly, and said, Sweet, your behavior is something is just going to get you an eternity of suffering. So you better recognize that you need help. And I discovered Christ in June of 1982, and he radically transformed my life. And I went from being a person who was a taker to one who just, because the Lord changed me so much, I wanted to contribute.
Yeah. What would you say, last question, to parents watching who have children with mental illness or have lost a child to suicide?
Forgive yourself.
Yeah.
If you have a child right now and you haven't sought help, seek help. Seek help for them and yourself. You need people in your corner. Don't take it personal. It's easy to blame yourself. That's destructive. It just means that you're not able to reach out with hope when you're blaming yourself. And understand you're not alone. And talk to friends. And for people who have friends that have mental health issues, be patient.
Yeah.
Listen more than speak. And don't try to fix them. Just try to steer them in the right direction and try to allow them to express themselves.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
And one of those places that you can call for help, for prayer, is our prayer lines. Our prayer partners are not trained counselors, but they will direct you to trained counselors, but they would love to pray with you if you are looking for that hope. They'd love to introduce you to Jesus if you don't know him yet. The number's at the bottom of your screen, 1-866-273-4444. Stay with us. We'll be right back.